Yeah, that'll do. What's up, boys? How's everybody doing today? I am, unsurprisingly, still getting set up, getting everything going. Gotta get the board up. You guys moved over a little bit. How are you guys doing today? Everybody rocking and rolling? Yeah? You ready for today? It's gonna get fun. Might get a little weird. Might get a little drunk. We'll see. Speaking of which, I hope you all have your drinks ready and are prepared for what you know is coming, which is Live with Jack, number 114. So I hope you have your drinks prepared because it's about that time. Let's go ahead and kick it off. What's up? What's going on, everybody? How are y'all doing? Good, I hope, because today is going to be a very fun one. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit difficult. We're going to get into the weeds some. We're going to talk about how you think and how you deal with yourself. Because self-talk is one of the most important parts of not just game, but of life. And you can actively choose to make it better. And I'm about to teach you how. So welcome to Live with Jack number 114, the very best part of your week. And if you would like to truly enjoy today's lesson, if you would like to take it to the tip top, to the height of humanity, the culmination of all of civilization, then all you need to do is grab your glass, your mug, or your flask, a chalice, a stein, or even a cask. Raise it high. Let's make a splash. It's time now for our libation bash. Toast the night and enjoy the mood. Together now, we drink some booze. On your mark, let's not wait. It's cheers with chaps, so don't be late. Oh. Cheers, boys. Not the best beer. But the first beer is always the best beer. So we'll rock with that. Now, let's jump into today's lesson. How to stop overthinking and completely reconstruct your own self-perception and how you deal with yourself. All right. This lesson actually comes because one of my clients came to me recently. And he said that he was having a hard time. He's now dating a girl who's way hotter than he ever expected. She's really cool. She's really awesome. And he came to me saying, Jack, I cannot get rid of this lingering thought in my head, this belief in my head that I'm not good enough for her. That she's going to turn around one day and be like, wait, hold on a minute. Why the fuck am I dating this guy? And he had this thought in his head, and he knew he needed to get rid of it. So he came to me and asked, what can I do with this? How can I change this? Because this is going to poison my relationship and ruin things if I let it persist. I said, cool. Here's what you do. The first thing you need to do is you need to get to the root of the situation. What exactly is the negative belief or beliefs that you have about yourself? What is the negative story that you are telling yourself in your own head? It's important that we identify exactly what it is first. That way, we can actually deal with it. If we don't know what it is and we just have kind of a general thought and like, oh, but I just don't think I'm very interesting, or I don't think I'm very cool. Like, okay, that's a start. But we need to get a little bit deeper than that. Why? Why don't you think that? What is it about you that you think is not interesting or not cool or not amazing or whatever it is? Whatever these beliefs are, these negative beliefs in your mind, you need to figure out exactly what they are. Then we can identify the cause and the origin. What is it that's made you think this? So in my client's case, he was talking about how he didn't think that he was very cool, that he didn't think that he was as good looking as her and not as special as her. And so I asked him, okay, cool. What's making you think that? Is it because of things that other girls have said in the past? Is it because of things that, offhand comments that your friends make about you? Is it because of the way that you look in the mirror? Is it that you don't like? Okay, cool. What is it? What's the actual cause of this? Where are these beliefs coming from? Because they aren't coming from nowhere, right? We don't have a belief about things that we don't think about. And so it has to have come from somewhere. Identify exactly where that place is. And that's going to be important for later on whenever we dig into that a little more. The next thing we need to do is we need to talk about the triggers. Are there specific things that happen that make this belief resurface, that make it come back, that make you feel this way again, even though you don't want to? What are those triggers? Why is that happening? What is the link there? How is this situation or this action or this thing that somebody says reinforcing that negative belief of yours? And this is all a story. Your beliefs about yourself in your head. This is a story. And so I'm going to keep referring to it as a story because there is a story that you are telling yourself in your head about yourself. And that story is the frame through which you view everything. So what actions, what words, what activities are triggering this belief and reinforcing the negativity? We're going to need to identify exactly what those are so that we can make the necessary changes a little bit later whenever we start correcting the story and figure it out. The last thing that we need to do here in the roots is we need to ask ourselves, does this belief serve me? Does this belief move me closer to my goal, whatever that is? Because again, we have a story in our head that is a set of different beliefs, that is a set of things that we think are true, that we believe to be true, and those completely tell the story of who you see yourself as. So you have to ask, does this belief serve me? Does it actually help propel me forward? Sometimes negative beliefs can serve you to move you forward, to give you fuel, to give you ammunition, to give you fire under your ass, to make you do things, to make you take action. That's okay. If the negative belief serves you and pushes you towards your goal, then great. But if it doesn't, if it's holding you back, then we need to work on changing it, right? Cool. Now that we know what the beliefs are, now that we have accepted that, yeah, some of these things we want to change, we need to change, we don't know how to do that. You cannot just erase a belief. You must replace it with something else, with a new belief. But Jack, the problem here is that everything I see points to this negative belief. I have a client out there, and if you happen to be watching right now, then you'll know exactly who you are, who always tells me, but Jack, it's just the truth. Okay, cool. So, no, it's not. There's no such thing as truth. That literally does not exist. There is no such thing as truth. There is a belief or a hypothesis or a conjecture based on evidence that we see. Now, we are always choosing to see certain pieces of evidence and to not see others. This is an important thing to understand, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But nothing is the truth. There is no simple objective truth, especially whenever it comes to subjective things like how you feel about yourself, or are you cool? Are you fun? Are you interesting? So as long as it's something subjective, something that we cannot simply prove, like this marker is purple. Yeah, the marker's purple, right? Like this is pretty objective. But if I said this marker is the best marker out of my 8 different markers, this is the best one. Okay, why? I need evidence to back that up because that is a subjective claim. The same is true with all the other things that you believe about yourself in your mind. They're all subjective. So we're going to work on changing them and replacing them with something that benefits you, something that is more positive for you. The next thing that we need to do is, now that we've identified the cause and origin, we need to talk about your value hierarchy. What and who are important to you and what's not. Because again, this is a choice. This is an important choice to make. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, do you care? Do you care if this thing is true, or should you care? if this thing is true, right? Do I care if people think that I probably can't play basketball well? Don't even care a little bit. Should I care? No. This is a negative belief in my head. People probably think I'm not very good at basketball. Also, I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter one bit. But there are things that maybe you do care about that you shouldn't, or things that you don't care about that maybe you should. So you need to first ask yourself about this belief. Is it something that you actually care about? Because most of these beliefs are founded on what we think or what we imagine other people will see and think about us. So with that in mind, do you care what other people think about you on this particular subject? And should you? If you answer these and the answer to both of these is yes, then cool. Let's move forward with this. But if the answer to either of these is no, if you don't care, then it doesn't matter. You're done. You can literally just let go of that negative belief and it's gone because you don't care, right? Unimportant. Should you care, but you do? That's the gray zone, right? Maybe it's something that you care about, but you probably shouldn't. So that's why we're going to go through replacing these things. Now, the next thing we have is we have a value hierarchy. Basically, what this means is there are some people who you care about their opinions more than other people, right? Like maybe you care a lot about what your mom thinks about you, or maybe you don't care at all, or maybe you care about her opinion on certain topics, but not on others. I would like, personally, I have a good relationship with my mom. I want my mom to have a high opinion of me personally. Also, she hates my political views. I don't give a shit. She's not high on the value hierarchy in that department. There are other people in your life. Maybe they're friends, maybe they're a girlfriend, a lover, just women walking down the street, people at work, whatever else. There are people who you care about more than other people, and especially on certain topics. So figure out whatever this belief is that you have, who do you actually care what they think about you on this topic? Because that's going to determine how you treat this. So, for example, maybe if I have a negative belief that says, I am not interesting to talk to. I don't care if my dog thinks that or if he doesn't. It doesn't matter one bit, right? That's not going to change anything. But maybe I care more what Lady North thinks about me not being interesting. She's a higher priority. She's higher on the value hierarchy in this particular instance. Now, if I smell great, then my dog's opinion matters a lot because he loves that. My wife doesn't really give a shit, right? So it's important to understand what the belief is and who you care about what they think. Next, you have your own personal priorities. How does this belief stack up in your personal priority list? Is this something important to you? Is this something that you want to change? Is it something that you don't really care that much about? Is it something that's not important to you? Or is it something that maybe it's something you want to change, but it's just low on the priority list? I'm a great example of this. I often talk about the fact that I'm carrying a bit of extra weight and I don't love that. I know how to change it. I know that I need to change it, and I do care and I do want to change it. But right now, I am so busy with everything else that it's just lower on my priority list. That's okay. You can accept something that you care about and you want to change, but you don't want to change it yet because the cost is too great. That's okay, as long as you're honest about it and you accept it with yourself. It's not something that we're lying about. It's not something that we're deluding ourselves about. None of that. We're just being real and saying, cool, this is important. I do want to change it. I'll get there in a couple of months. I'm just not there right now. I have a ton of shit to do, and I will figure out how to build this thing in moving forward. But right now, it's on the back burner. So figure out where this issue, this belief lies in your personal priorities. And the last thing you want to do is this. This one is the most important, and it comes back to the cause, the origin, and whether or not you care. Who has the power? In your life, if you are letting other people, especially strangers, dictate your actions because you care more about what they think than about what you want to do, then you are giving them all of the power to change how you act, to change how you talk to yourself, to change what you believe about yourself. So stop that right there. Stop that immediately. If this is a thing that you're doing, you need to stop that. You cannot be giving your power away. You cannot be giving your agency away, especially on something as important to your own self-image and your self-perception. How you deal with yourself is not anybody else's fucking business. It's not the girl at the cafe's business. It's not your mom's business. It's not my business. It's yours. And you're the only one who can have that power. So don't give that away. Don't let other people dictate to you how you should act and treat yourself. You need to take that power back. And in doing so, you're going to take back the responsibility as well. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to do this. And I get it, because it is scary. If you're responsible for the decisions and for the choices you make and for the beliefs that you carry, then it's your fault. But that also means that you have the power to change it. So if you don't like where you are mentally, if you don't like the fact that you're constantly overthinking things, that you're constantly beating yourself down and telling yourself negative things about yourself, okay, you have to take responsibility for that, because nobody else can. Literally nobody else can do it. You're the only one who can do it for you. And when you do that, when you accept that it is within your power to change, that it is your responsibility, then from that point on, every time you have that negative belief, it's your fault. And you know it's your fault. And you accept that it's your fault. But you also accept that you have the power to change it. And this is exactly how we're going to do that. Now that we understand all this stuff, it's time to actually replace those negative beliefs with powerful, positive beliefs that are going to help you rebuild your self-perception. First of all, follow the evidence. This comes back to what I was saying earlier about somebody saying to me, Jack, it's just the truth. This is just how it is. Okay. Stop there. Everything we do, every story we tell ourselves, every belief we have, everything is based on evidence. It's based on something that we see, something that we observe, something that we feel, something that is giving us a reason, a cause to have this belief and to say this is backed up by evidence. Cool. Got it. I'm with you so far. This is the truth. Neat. Whenever you choose to believe something by following certain evidence, you are actively choosing to ignore other evidence. This is always the case. You cannot consider all the possibilities and all the different ways, because we simply have a limit on our imagination and on what we can observe and on what we can feel and how we can define those things. So nothing is going to be 100% of the evidence. All right, cool. Now, if you're with me so far, this is where it gets fun. You get to choose what evidence to believe. Because again, we're not lying to ourselves. We're not deluding ourselves. We are simply asking, is there another story? Is there another truth that would fit this same set of facts and could also be true? If so, then that's what we want to choose, right? You're going to choose. You're going to choose one of the beliefs that you can see before you based on the evidence. So let's take an example so that I don't sound so esoteric and just in the clouds. Let's say that a guy goes out to a bar and he goes out and he tries to hit on girls. He flirts with 10 different girls, and they're all 5s or 6s, maybe even lower than that. And every single time he gets shut down, rejected. And then on the 11th girl, she's a 10. They chat all night. He takes her home. What's the story? Well, we have evidence to show that this guy is awful with women. He got rejected by 10 different girls who were just busted, who were not pretty at all, who had no extra value, who were not interesting, not special, and they still just knocked him down. But At the end of the night, he did take the other girl home, but it doesn't matter, right? That's what? A 9% success rate? Terrible, terrible. That's 91% failure. The evidence proves to us beyond doubt that that man is terrible with women. Or that dude's awesome with women. Are you kidding me? Did you see the girl he left with? The evidence clearly shows us that this guy has great game and he did really, really well tonight. The evidence shows us clearly beyond doubt that this guy is a hero, a living legend. What's the story? Where does the evidence point? It's literally a choice. You can choose both, and they are both true. They are both completely supported by the evidence. This is the same for all the different stories you tell yourself. You have lots of evidence in your past of things that you have done that are awesome, of things that you have done that are awful. You have a lot of evidence in your past that you are interesting, but also you have a lot of evidence in your past that you are uninteresting and boring. You have a lot of evidence that you're cool, that people like to be around you. You also have a lot of evidence that people don't want to be around you, people don't want to talk to you. You literally get to choose which evidence to look at. The same thing is true here. Are there people who want to spend time with you, who like you, who enjoy talking to you? The answer is yes. Everybody has someone who they can talk to, and they can have fun talking together. So there is evidence to show that people like you and want to talk to you. Cool. Let's use that, because the story that we tell is going to be our new frame. And that's what we have to do, is we have to create a new personal story. So this new story that you tell yourself, where we're literally just changing the beliefs based, again, on evidence, but it's a choice. So if I have the choice to think I'm awesome or I'm absolute shit, I'm going to choose I'm awesome, because that belief serves me. That belief moves me forward towards my goal. That belief helps me. If I'm doing these live streams, I have to have a story in my head that I'm interesting and people want to hear what I have to say and that my advice is good. I have evidence to show that that is true. I also have evidence to show that that is not true. Which belief serves me? Well, I want to make the live streams because I want to help more people. So the belief that I'm interesting and I'm going to tell a good story and I'm going to give you good advice, that belief helps me. That belief serves me, and it pushes me forward to do these live streams so that I can give out the free advice and the free videos like I do. That belief, because it is just a belief, is based on evidence, but also the opposite is true. I have to tell myself a story that I'm good at this, that my advice is solid, that I can and will help people, because that story that I have in my head helps me to do the thing that I want to do, which is to help more guys live better lives and have more fulfilling relationships. Therefore, I choose the positive belief. You create your own personal story. Who are you? Who do you want to be? How do you want to view yourself? Can you manufacture evidence that proves that story to be true so that it fits the set of facts in front of you? Absolutely, you can. Now, if you choose to look at negative stuff and you choose to hold on to negative beliefs, then your story is also going to be negative. And it's also going to fit the facts. And then you're going to come to me and tell me, but Jack, it's just the truth. And I'm going to laugh at you and say, no, it's absolutely not. And we have plenty of evidence to the contrary. You need to choose the story that best serves you, that actually benefits you. And this will make you more confident, because confidence is just mountains of evidence. It's literally just a belief that is backed up so thoroughly by evidence that, of course, it's true. That's what confidence actually is. A lot of people kind of talk about this and like, yeah, confidence is the swagger or the big dick walk or something like that. Those things are byproducts. Those are results from a belief that is backed up by mountains of evidence. So if you're telling yourself a story, a positive story about how awesome and cool you are, and you back it up with a lot of evidence in your head, you're gonna walk in anywhere looking confident as fuck. So ask yourself right now, what are some things that you are truly confident about? Now, we're not sure about anything. That's not really possible. I can be confident that I am able to create an interesting lesson and to tie all this stuff together and to help guys fix their minds. I can be confident in that because, again, I have evidence to back it up. But I'm never sure. It's not guaranteed. I could stand up here tonight and just fumble my words all the time like I just did. And I could just completely shit the bed and mess it all up. Could. It's possible. But I'm very confident that I won't. Why? Because my story tells me that that's not going to happen. And I have lots of evidence to back that up. So there are some things that you are confident about right now. Even if it's something as simple as, I am confident that the sun will rise tomorrow morning. I have no way to guarantee that, to be sure. I don't have like a special phone line to God so that I can check and make sure, but I'm very confident. Why? Because mountains of evidence suggest that this will continue to be the case. If I'm confident about certain things because of the evidence, and I can choose what evidence to believe and even what evidence to create, because the story you tell yourself changes the facts. It's literally a filter on reality so that you see everything differently. So with that in mind, that's all we have to do. You just reframe the past and you reframe the future. You reframe the present. You reframe all the stories that you had in your head. Everything that you knew about yourself, you reframe with the new story. Literally like putting a filter over a photo. It changes the whole thing. Now, it doesn't change what's underneath it. It doesn't change the base facts, right? But it does change the way that you see it. It changes the way that other people see it as well. You use this story as a new frame. For example, if I said, I am very good with women. Okay, this is the new story that I'm going to tell myself. I'm very good with women. I'm going to think back through my past and I'm going to find evidence of all the times that a girl looked at me flirty. I'm going to find all the times that a girl talked to me, that she laughed at my joke, that she touched my arm. And even if nothing else has ever happened, even if I've never kissed a girl, I've never done anything else with a girl, but I can use those things as evidence that I am very good with women. This can be my new personal story. Neat. Now, I can reframe all of the other past things as well. Let's say I went out to a bar and I tried to talk to a lot of girls and I completely struck out. Nobody wanted anything to do with me. Awesome. I was clearly just having an off day. Or I was trying a new technique and it just didn't work. That's okay. That happens. Everybody has off days. Everybody tries new things and they don't always work. No matter how good you are at something, if you try something new, then it's probably not going to work out very well the first time. So, of course, they didn't want to talk to me. I was trying something new. I was reframing this story, looking at it in a different light, in a different filter, in a way that actually serves me and that moves me forward. But also, I need to keep moving forward. So if I think that I'm very good with women, neat. I want to keep that story going instead of just lay back and say, oh yeah, I'm a lady killer. I'm done now. I'm finished. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to lay back. No. You still have to follow through with that because that's part of the story, right? If the story makes you stop doing the action, then the story doesn't serve you. The belief doesn't serve you. So you want the belief to move you forward and make you keep getting better and keep improving and actually get to the goal that you want, right? So the belief, the story, does need to actually work and it needs to make sense and it needs to be in alignment, reasonable alignment with the facts. You can massage the facts. You can alter the evidence in your mind a bit so that it fits the story because this is what we do anyway. Again, this is all a choice, just like in the example earlier, whatever you're picking, the guy who struck out 10 times or the guy who went home with the stunner, you're ignoring some parts of the evidence, which means that you're massaging the evidence. You're kind of altering it a bit so that it fits whatever story you choose. Same thing here. You are choosing how to view the past and how to view different situations in your life through this new story. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here is imposter syndrome. And you are absolutely going to feel imposter syndrome. This is a big one because especially whenever you're trying something this big, whenever you're completely altering the story in your mind and you're altering your beliefs about the world around you, you're going to feel like a big fat fucking fake. And that's okay. That's okay. Imposter syndrome is a good thing. Hear me out. Imposter syndrome means that you are now doing something that previously you did not believe yourself qualified to do. Now, you might still believe that you are not qualified to do it, but that's okay. That means that you've leveled up and you are actively getting better as a person, and you are getting better at whatever thing it is that you are feeling like an imposter about. When I first started writing my blog in 2015, I had terrible imposter syndrome. I thought nobody's ever going to want to read my writing. This is fucking stupid. This is just a total waste of time. This is trash. This isn't interesting at all. No one's going to like it. I'm not even that good with women, I guess. I had a lot of negative beliefs in my mind at that time, and I had terrible imposter syndrome. But here's the thing. Whether I was right or wrong about my belief in myself didn't matter. I had started something and I was doing the action to show that I did deserve to do the thing, right? Which in this case was writing the blog. I was doing the action. I was posting on the blog. I was making insights and comments that other people thought were interesting. That is my evidence. Now, all of a sudden, the new story I was telling myself about I am a writer about dating and relationships. Now, this story suddenly has mountains of evidence. Suddenly, I am a lot more confident about it than I was before. Why? Because I pushed through the imposter syndrome. I accepted that I didn't feel it, but I knew that the action dictates the results. If you do the action, you will get some kind of results, and they will fit your new story in some way, shape, or form. So if you're feeling imposter syndrome, which you will, it's a good thing. It literally means that you are leveling up. You are doing better than you thought yourself capable of before. That's great. Now use that and continue telling yourself this story so that you can find the new evidence, so that you can create the new story around your life, and that will have you come out on the other side a winner. Come out smelling like roses. Come out with mountains of evidence to prove that your story is true. And that is how you take the negative beliefs you have right now, you transform them into positive beliefs, and then you use those positive beliefs to reframe your past and the world around you and your future experiences and all that stuff, and you reframe it together to actually level yourself up and become a fucking superhero. So that is how you stop overthinking and completely reconstruct your self-perception. I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, please consider leaving a little thumbs up down below this video. Leave us a like because it really helps me. It helps the channel grow. And if you know somebody who is having some trouble with self-doubt, with negative thoughts, with negative beliefs, maybe send them this video so that it can help them to improve themselves and grow and become a better, stronger version of themselves. Thank you. I appreciate it. And with that, I am going to move into our Q&A section. Let's bring in Antonio and let's actually kill these guys. That recording doesn't matter anymore. Bye. This part is only for you people who are live on YouTube. Let's see, where are you, Antonio? There you are. Hey, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, Jack. How are you?
Oh, I'm beautiful. Thank you. There we go.
How's it going? So,
adjust your volume a little bit. It's going well. Busy, busy, man. Busy, busy,
as
busy
usual.
every day. How about you? How's everything going on your end?
Same thing for my end.
Yeah.
So, are there going to be any new guests today? Is it just me and you, or?
Well, Julius said that he was gonna hop on, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him. Let me check and see if he sent me a message. I don't know. He may have fallen asleep as well. He's an old man like me. No, nothing.
Understandable. Do you think should we hop on it already?
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I sent you some questions earlier.
Yeah,
that
I do.
to
I
me.
have them. So
Awesome.
the first question is, I have been trying to know how to ground myself when my mind starts racing. When I am approaching a girl and I get near her, my mind starts racing with all sorts of thoughts, like I'm disturbing her, I will blow her off my mind, what will others think of me if I try to approach her, and what should I do in this scenario? So basically overthinking.
Okay. Right. Right. So there are a lot of different thoughts and beliefs. Oh, hey there, Monokuma. You want to sit over here? There we go. There are a lot of negative thoughts and beliefs inside of that question. So, like some of the things that he was saying, things like, what if I bother her? Okay, cool. Reasonable thought, right? But is it? People come up to you all the time. Like people try to offer you something, or people try to, get you to sign a petition or whatever else. And like, it doesn't really bother you. Even if you say no, you're just like, oh no, I'm not, and then you go on about your way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you any. So first of all, you're not going to bother her. But second, this is a reframe of that idea. If you feel like you're bothering her, that's probably because you're trying to ask her to give you or to do something for you. And that's the opposite of what we want. We want to actually be making an offer. So if we think about it that way, if we clarify our offer, right? Like, what is it that I bring to the table? What is it that I'm asking you to do? Or what is it that I'm offering to do for you, with you, anything like that? Then now, instead of going up to somebody and asking them, imagine in your head that you're going up to somebody and asking them to give you money, you're going to feel like you're bothering them because you are. But if you view it as you're offering to give them money, you're not bothering them. Even if they say no, it's okay, right? It doesn't matter. What's up, Julius? How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was just with the colleagues, so just got back.
Oh, awesome. I like your fairy lights back there. That's nice.
Oh yeah, if you'll like my Yankee candle some more,
Oh, wow.
and my Beagle.
Is that a Nerf gun on the wall?
No, it's my BB gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we would have needed to censor that if that was real.
Yeah, not out here in Korea.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I got that for 20,001. That's like 14 euros, I think.
Hell yeah, man. So let me finish that real quick, and then I'll pass the question over to Julius. So what you want to do is, at least in my mind, what you want to do is, before you go out, deal with all of that stuff in your head first. And then whenever you get there, you already have the answers to all that. So whenever that part of your brain, that ego, the enemy, starts trying to attack you and tell you like, oh, no, don't do it. You already have all the answers to it, and you just now knock it down. Now, the other thing to do, the other way to look at this is much quicker and much simpler. And it's literally just, okay, cool. Anytime my ego tells me to do something, I punch it in the face, and then I double down and really do that thing. Because your ego is your enemy. It's literally always trying to stop you from doing better, from getting better, from improving, from trying something new, all that stuff. Your ego is literally trying to stop you from being better. So anytime your ego tells you to stop doing something, Say, right, you're my enemy. Fuck you, guy. Punch it in the face, double down, and do the thing. Right? Like, now you have to do the thing. So that's the quick, easy, angry version. Or you can do like the philosopher's bullshit version that I described at first. Those are my thoughts on it. Julius, the question was, how do I stop overthinking things whenever I go out? Like, if I'm going to approach a girl and I start thinking like, oh, well, she won't like me, or I don't want to bother her, or what will other people think of me if I fail, and like stuff like that. So what are your thoughts? How do you deal with that?
With one of those things, I personally try not to overthink things. I just do, right? For example, when I went on a date for the first time in forever, this is during COVID, so I'm sure you remember. And I went out with the hot German girl, and that was my first time, like, where I had dated. I took someone out, and she was really pretty. I started getting really nervous because I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
But don't think about it. Just I think the biggest concern for you is just to know what you will do and where you will go. But in the sense, like, for instance, I took her to like a really good barbecue place. I took her to Doma. So I was like, okay, this place is good. It doesn't stink. She'll like it. And the flavors aren't so foreign to where she won't like it at all. And then I was like, I'll just be myself the same way I have been all the other times we've met, where I don't need to worry about what I need to ask or say or how to keep a conversation going. I don't have to worry about the success or the failure, because I know that even if this doesn't go the way I want it to, we could at least still be friends. Or if this is a slow game, I will, meet her another day and still hit it off, because she wanted to hang out with me. So there's no real problem here. So I think when you start dating or going out, just try not to get so nervous or work things up so much in your head. Just be like, the worst that will happen is that she'll say no, or she'll refuse, and there's nothing wrong with that. You'll just learn how to pick up on certain cues or how to pick up on certain responses quicker, so that way you can increase your success rate. Because if you start thinking about the tiny little things, I have a friend here who I was just with, where he'll just get caught up in so many different little things, and he's a pessimist by nature, that he'll work things up, and then at the end of the night he'll get laid. And it's not because I told him what to do, but I also told him, like, hey, just chill, relax, don't take it to heart, just play it by ear, just be the same cool guy you are with me, with her, and laugh at her stupid jokes, have a few drinks, and see what happens afterwards. And he does all those things, and everything turns out okay. And then all that worrying was for nothing. So you gotta just remind yourself that you're just gonna be okay, and to not be afraid of a certain outcome.
Yeah, that's actually a really big thing, is that I often talk about how, like, oh, the ego is your enemy and fuck the ego. Your ego lives there. It exists to protect you from physical danger, from actually getting yourself killed, right? So what you have to do, the evidence that you're trying to collect here, what you're trying to prove to yourself, to your mind, to your ego, is that you're in no actual danger. You might think, oh, but what if? So, okay, cool. Test the theory. Test the hypothesis. Approach the girl. What happens? Does she slap you in the face? No. Did the police come and arrest you for, like, being the cool guy who had the balls to approach? No.
No.
You're in no danger whatsoever, even if you think you are, because that's your ego trying to stop you from getting better, because it's trying to protect you from physical danger. But there is no physical danger.
Yeah,
So,
no, there's none. Like, you'll get. I remember just getting to this point because I watched something similar in Sex and the City. This is when I was a handholdless, kissless virgin, and how it was so easy for the characters, men and women alike in the show, to approach each other, and if they didn't like each other, almost immediately they just walk away, and they'd be like, ugh, and then they would immediately go back to what they were doing, having a good time. The same thing will happen to you when you start approaching people. They'll be like, ugh, oh, hey, Antonio.
Right.
They'll like it or they won't, but they'll go back to what they were doing, and you'll go right back to what you're doing. And you'll remember, you'll be like, oh, shit, yeah, I just repulsed 3 women, but I got 3 numbers, none the same. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? And you'll get to the point where you just be like, all right, whatever, she was a bitch, and on to the next one.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what stood out to me at the time, and I adopted that same mentality. It's not a big deal.
Right.
It's
So
not a big deal at all.
Perfect example of using selective evidence of saying, like, yeah, whatever, I got blown out 3 times, but I also got 3 numbers. So, like, the ones that I got blown out by, they don't count. Right? Like, you're literally just blocking them out and ignoring that evidence. Why? Because the story that you do well with women, that belief helps you. That actually serves you, and that pushes you forward.
Mm-hmm.
On that topic, we have a question here from YouTube where Justin asks us, on the topic of saying you choose the evidence that benefits you, how do you draw the line between actual proper feedback that makes you better versus something that's misinformed? I have a colleague that literally thinks every single girl in the office likes him the moment they look his way, but
Oh my God.
it's actually creepy as fuck. All right, cool. So, couple things. One, there's nothing you can do to fix your colleague's belief. So don't worry about that. Just like, he's a fucking creeper. Whatever. Let him be. Like, warn the girl away from him if you want. But there's nothing you can do there. However, for yourself to choose the right evidence, the question is, does the evidence that I am choosing, does the belief that I have actually push me forward and get me the results that I want? Essentially, is it predictive in a positive way? If not, then you are missing the lesson, right? Not my lesson. I mean, whatever lesson the thing is trying to teach you. So if I believe that I'm very good at guitar, so I keep playing guitar, I accept that also I can make mistakes and learn and get better. But if I simply say, I'm great at guitar and I never make any mistakes, that is intentionally ignoring the lesson, right? Now, with the example Julius just gave, if you go out, you approach 6 women, 3 of them are blowouts, 3 of them give you their numbers. Okay, cool. Is there a lesson to learn from those 3 women? Maybe. Depends on the situation, right? Like, maybe you approached all of them in a very tight quarter. And then the 3 girls that you approached in the open air section of the bar, they were all very receptive. Then it's like, oh, okay, cool. So there's actually a lesson to learn here, which is don't approach women in a way that's going to scare them because they're in like little tight quarters. Maybe there's a lesson to learn there, but we can take the lesson and still not apply that evidence to our story because it doesn't change the story. It's just that the story means we're also still learning and improving. So whatever it is that you are doing, I'm good at guitar, so I keep practicing. So I make mistakes, but I get better. I learn from them. I'm good with women. I'm good at flirting. So I go out and I do the approaches. But whenever I fail, I look at what happened and I say, right, I'm so good with women that I understand what happened and I can learn from it and get better. It can still back up your story, but you still take the lesson, right? There's 2 things there. The one is like the action part, and the other is the belief part. And as long as the belief part is still moving you forward and is not making you blind to the action part, then it's working, then it serves you. But if the belief part makes you blind to the action part, then the belief does not serve you, right? What do you think about that?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I totally agree. I think the best way to improve your game is by learning from your mistakes. And that applies to just about anything in life, right?
Yeah.
I've had times where I remember, like in college, I learned this the right way, and it's know your audience kind of thing, right? So my guy friends I would make porn jokes with, they laughed their asses off at it. But when I tell it to girls, they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I don't watch porn." Yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, well, can't do that anymore." So you have to kind of understand who you're talking to, and kind of figure out that maybe you're just not for everybody. You know, I'm sure we've all been around people our entire lives where, for one reason or another, they just didn't like you. Women are no exception to that. So you meet someone, and you could, like, for example, there are some women out there who think Brad Pitt is ugly. You know, okay. And there are people out there who don't like me at all as a person. That's great. I don't want to be around you either. So the sooner you can figure that out, the better. And these are mistakes I think people don't realize. Like, you're just not for everybody.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. Like, Jack's not for everybody. I've seen it.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Like, there are a ton of people who fucking hate me. And
yeah. But do you hang out with these morons? Do you put yourself in the same vicinity as them? Nope. I mean, sometimes you do, but you're not going to stop going to certain places because they're there. But you're not going to sit at the same table and try to be their best friend either, right? Sure. If a girl hates you,
even if there's no reason, it's okay.
Yeah.
I know one of your friends, Yoshi, just fucking hates me. He just doesn't like me at all. And like, okay, that's fine. I'm not sure why. Like, I didn't do anything to him, but.
Oh yeah, I have no idea why either. He's I don't know. He's gone like full SJW. I'll tell you about that later.
Oh, has he now? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whenever I first met him, like, he seemed like a cool enough guy.
Yeah, he was cool. He got along with you. He was like, oh, I really like that guy. I was like, so I don't know what changed in him, but it doesn't matter.
Anyway, unimportant. Like,
but the thing is, like, yeah, you got to kind of realize that, like, not everybody's for you. You're not for everybody, and in certain situations, like, certain people, certain women just won't like the way you talk to them. They don't like, I don't know, your hair. They always have like a stupid excuse. When you pick up haircut, or they don't like the way you dress, or they don't like where you're from. I've been rejected because I'm from the States. It's fucking stupid. And I've had women try to hit on me, and they're like, "Oh, do you know Spanish football?" I'm like, I don't watch football. or they'll tell me, I don't know. I remember one girl, she tried talking to me. She was South African and not pretty. And she told me that my name was like a Colombian drug lord's name. I was like, all right, this is the least flattering thing you could tell me. So we're not made for everyone. And I think also, if you're not having success with women, it's always good to have a friend nearby. Not always, but to have someone nearby to kind of just maybe watch or stand with you. Like, for instance, when I'm with Paul, we could give each other feedback. Like, oh, you should have done this. Oh, you shouldn't have said this. You should have done this instead. Or like, Jack is of course really good at. So that we, like, if you're just kind of like, oh, well, I'm too good and I'm not making any mistakes, have someone kind of go like, oh, well, you kind of did this, or you shouldn't have said that, or perhaps you went with this guy who kind of just stole your thunder because he's riding off your success of making the approach.
Right.
You gotta kind of maybe have someone who could help give you the constructive criticism that maybe you're just not seeing, not able to see yourself.
And I think that actually gets to the heart of Justin's question, which is like, okay, cool, Jack, I hear you, right? Create your story, choose the evidence, all that. How do I do that and make sure that I'm not that guy, right? Because I don't want to be that guy. And this is actually the answer, is have a friend who isn't a fucking idiot, right? Like, have a friend who you trust, who's actually going to tell you if you fuck things up, and a friend who kind of at least knows what they're doing a bit, right? If your friend is just some fucking SJW, like, oh my God, dude, you shouldn't talk to women. They don't like that thing. And it's like, oh, fuck off, right? That's not a friend. You don't want to be friends with that guy anyway. Somebody who can actually be accountable with, and that will make sure that you don't become the creepy guy. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there was a creepy guy at work. I used to work with him. He was actually a cool guy. It's just, he just had no idea how to talk to women, right? And so like, if I were to give him the criticism, if I could do this a few years ago, I would tell him, I consider myself not a complete fucking moron when it comes to women. I would tell him, like, okay, dude, you got to be able to read a room. For one, maybe at work it's kind of weird. If they're too zoned in on the work and they're not very responsive, maybe it's time to just call it quits and not talk to them very much. maybe try talking to them outside of work. Well, they don't like the nicknames you've given them. They sound kind of forced and weird. They're not funny. Because I noticed, like, when I would speak to the women, they would laugh at everything I would say. They would giggle, they would laugh. I'd get their cacaos. Yet him, on the other hand, it was just complete silence. They were cold. They'd be rude to him. They would dismiss him very quickly, and I never got any of that.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. And it's not because I was trying so hard. It was just because I wasn't doing any of the things he wasn't doing, that he was doing. Right.
Yeah. And, like, you have to be in a place mentally and emotionally where you can talk to a friend and accept constructive criticism. Because sometimes, especially when you're first getting started, any criticism feels
Like an attack.
Yeah, it feels like a personal attack because you're like, fuck, man, I know, I'm trying, right? Like, I get that feeling. I do. And so depending on where you are, how much practice you have, more or less criticism might be important. But again, have a friend, have an accountability buddy, somebody who's there with you to just make sure that you don't fuck it up too bad.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And that if you do, you learn the lesson.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Of course. I mean,
next question, Antonio. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, for next
I was
question,
gonna say,
I agree with everything. The problem that I have with that, honestly, I actually do have anxiety sometimes when it comes to approaching some new people regarding women, right? What a question that I have for you is, what do you think is the fastest way in that situation to overcome that anxiety and to immediately approach her?
It's not anxiety, it's excitement. Your body's physical reaction to anxiety and excitement are identical. Increased heart rate, you get that kind of butterflies in your stomach feel, your blood starts pumping, right? That's excitement. That's all that it is. You are so attracted to a girl that you cannot wait to talk to her. You're excited to talk to her. That's it. You just reframe how you see it in your mind. It's not anxiety, it's excitement. That's the easiest and fastest way to do it. If I get a physical reaction, like, it's the same way that, like, if you think of a joke in your mind that makes you laugh out loud, you know it's a great joke because you had a physical reaction to it. Same thing here. If you see a girl that you're so attracted to that you have a physical reaction to her, awesome. She is a very good match for you, and you have to approach her. And not only that, but you're excited to do it. That's it. That's the easiest way to change it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, for second question, instead we have
just one quick second. One quick second. Julius, what were you saying a second ago? Do you remember?
Yes, of course. Sorry, I was just like so tuned in. Yeah. It was the part where some women are fucking crazy.
Oh yeah,
you got to realize that too. I had a girl call the cops on me after we made out and played beer pong. So the cops came. I did nothing wrong. Even my friend Stallion was there, and he was like, "Caesar, what did you do?" And I was like, "I didn't do anything." But yeah, some women are just fucking batshit insane, and she was really, really, really sexy. So keep that in mind. Some women are just fucking psychos.
They are. They are. There's a much higher proportion of crazy women than crazy men, and we already know how fucking weird and crazy men can be. So double that in percentage terms. Just be aware. Keep an eye out for the crazy eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever you see I call it the AOC eyes. Whenever you see AOC talk and the crazy eyes, right? She gets the crazy eyes.
You see the white in her eyes like this.
Yeah, exactly. So keep an eye out. If you see the crazy eyes, excuse yourself. Be like, hey, it was lovely meeting you, lovely talking to you. Have a good night. Bye. And just fucking tiptoe away. Tiptoe run. Get the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm. Not worth it.
Did a girl ever get you arrested, Jack?
A girl has, there is a story to that, but that's from a long time ago and not relevant to this topic. The good old hot crazy scale. That's exactly right. Z-Man knows exactly what I'm talking about there. The hot crazy matrix, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see here. We've got a question here. How do you reframe the "I'm not good enough, I just came out of the gym, I'm sweating and I smell bad," those kinds of negative thoughts that creep up before approach, building on Antonio's question? Right. Yes. Cool. You literally just change the story in your head. You are focused on some details, which means you're choosing which details to focus on. So in this case, you think you're sweaty and smell bad. Also, there's a detail here that is, I just came out of the gym because I care about myself and I work on myself, and a girl will be able to see that I take good care of myself and that I'm working out all the time. That's awesome. That's hot. Also, fun fact, total little tidbit to the side, women get really turned on by the smell of men's sweat. So if you're sweaty, fuck yeah. That's a positive, man.
Of course.
That might be true. It might not be true. You don't know. Now, if you look it up, it actually is true. But the point is, if you change that story that you tell yourself in your head, all of a sudden, what you viewed as a negative now becomes a positive. Now, I'm not saying, like, try to make yourself sweaty so that you can go up and approach girls. Like, that's the wrong lesson to take away from this, right? It's about changing the story in your head so that even in that situation, there's nothing stopping you. Right? It's about which details you focus on. That's it, right? Like, would you care if a girl was really hot and she came up to you to start a conversation and ask for your number, but she was sweaty and in gym clothes? Would you be like, ooh, gross, bitch, I don't date girls with ponytails? Like,
Yeah.
no, you wouldn't.
Makes
No, you
sense.
absolutely
Yeah.
would not.
Yeah.
Right? So same thing here, right? It doesn't matter one bit. You go up, you shoot your shot. She's in for it.
All right.
Next
Can we
question.
hop on the question?
Yeah.
How to overcome neediness and still keep going in the beginning without success and a lot of rejections? I don't understand this question. How to overcome neediness and still keep going in the beginning without success and a lot of rejections?
Right. Okay, cool.
I felt that like the neediness kind of goes with like you've already started dating someone and you don't want to come across as that, but that's not what the question means, I'm guessing.
I think it means the desperate neediness that, whenever you go, like, whenever you're on a cold streak, right?
Yep.
And you get this kind of like, fuck it, anyone will do. Yeah, anyone, right? Like,
Yep.
and that desperation, that neediness comes out. And I get that. That can be really tough whenever you're getting started, or if you're on a cold streak, or if you're coming out of a relationship or whatever. It can be tough. What I would do to deal with this, if I felt myself starting to get needy or starting to act needy, then I would back it up and try to figure out why. Now, I know that there's the why of, like, because, Jack, I'm horny and nobody will touch my willy. Yeah, I know, right? But neediness comes from, I want other people to think of me a certain way. It's not I want people to do a thing. It's, oh shit, did I freeze?
No, you're okay.
There we go.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
yeah, so neediness comes from, I want other people to think of me a certain way. It's not I want people to act a certain way, because if all you're looking for is the action, then you know the process, you have the knowledge to do the things to get the result, right? And then you wouldn't be acting needy. You would just say, oh, but this is just part of it, right? If I'm going to do 10 approaches to get a number, then I just need to do more approaches. That's it, right? The neediness comes from you caring more about what they think about you. And so you try to start altering your actions to make them think something differently about you. And that's what comes across as needy and desperate. So stop caring what they think. Ask yourself the questions that I went through at the beginning of this lesson here of, like, all right, cool. What am I worried they're going to think about me? What if they do think that thing about me, right? Like, so let's take this example, and I'm just going to put words to it that aren't in the question. I'm worried that girls are going to think that I'm creepy. Okay, cool. What happens if girls think that I'm creepy? Then they just won't give me their number. Okay. Does that hurt me? No. Does that change any of my behavior? No. I just approach different girls, right? Maybe my targeting is wrong. Maybe my presentation is wrong. Maybe my opening is wrong. But I don't actually care if they think I'm creepy. That's just data to help me improve. Cool. If I don't care what they think, then I don't need to change my actions to follow their thoughts or to try to change their thoughts. I just need to change my actions to improve upon the chances of getting the result. That has nothing to do with what they think. Fuck what they think. Doesn't matter. All that matters to me is, am I doing things correctly? And does the process work to give me results? Has it worked before? Do I have evidence to suggest that women do want to talk to me? Yes. Do I have evidence to suggest that women do respond well to this line or to this look or to this style? Yes. Okay, cool. Then keep doing that thing and they can go fuck themselves. You toss their thoughts out the window entirely. That stops you from getting needy and desperate. Also, don't talk to fatties. Because the more you lower your standards, if you normally bang 6s and 7s, but you start talking to 3s because you're getting desperate, then you're going to fuck up your psyche a lot there. Don't. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you mean fuck up your psyche?
Because this
it's
is
a
the same
self-fulfilling prophecy. You end up only dating what you think you could date.
exactly.
So you go from 6 and 7s, you go down to a 3, and you go, "Oh, this is where I belong." And it's dumpster.
And not only that, but because you're going to the 3, in your mind, you know what you're doing, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'm so desperate, I'm so needy that I'm going to the fucking 200-pound catfish down the road," and you're going to act needy, and you're going to get shut down by her too, and that's really going to fuck up your
That's
cycle.
where things are. Yeah, that's when things get really bad. Don't do that to yourselves.
Exactly.
I think too. I think to also answer like another aspect of the question, at least how I somewhat understood it. I think like if you get a girl's number, you have a successful approach, and you immediately just like start messaging and nonstop, and you just don't let her breathe. You don't want to do that either. You just gotta like, space out the messages. I mean, don't do it like or with one of the guys in the Discord where if he's the last one to message, he will never follow up with another message because he read on some stupid forum somewhere on Korean internet that that's what you have to do. Don't do that, guys. But just like give it a few hours. You're busy. Then she sends you a message. You read it, but you don't open it, right? So it doesn't look like you read it and you've forgotten about her. Then you respond when you have time. Oh yeah, I'm at the gym now. Sorry, I only just now got your message. Right? It's crap.
Or even better, if you find yourself starting to act needy, because this is something that I've had clients tell me before, is like, Jack, I want to stop sending her messages like immediately when she sends them to me, but I physically cannot stop myself. The answer is very simple. It's put your phone on silent, put the fucker on the charger, and go do something, anything else. Go to the gym. Bring an old phone if you want to listen to music, right? Like everybody's got like an old phone or an MP3 player or whatever. Or you can just go to a fucking used phone shop and
go to the gym, boys.
some shitty an iPhone 5 or something for $20. And you just use that as like, this is my music machine, because $20 is a cheap investment to free up your mind, right? Do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Put your phone on silent, walk away from it, go play Call of Duty with your friends, do whatever, man, right? Just do something else. And then whenever you come back to your phone, if she messaged you, cool, you can answer. If not, who gives a shit? You had a great time at the gym. You had a great time playing Xbox. You had a great time, whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you start dating, give her space. Don't stay at her place nonstop, 24/7, all day, every day of the week, month.
What's your strategy, Julius?
With neediness?
Yeah.
What is it? I've never been a needy guy. I've had my older brother is an extremely needy guy. And that's where I learned a lot of this from him. And he's the kind of guy, I hope he doesn't watch this, but he's the kind of guy.
I don't think he will.
But
you mean Jay, right?
Yeah, Jay. So he's the kind of guy where, at least at the time when he would date someone, and they would just start getting to know each other, and it would be like officially dating. He would just take the PlayStation, all his movies. He would take his clothes, and he would stay at their house nonstop. Yeah, and of course, things would fizzle out in a month because the girl's like, this guy will just not fucking leave.
Yeah.
Right. Smothering the girl around her nonstop, not giving her space. He was always like between jobs, so that's like where he would just be there like nonstop. Right. That's not good. And
Yeah.
I immediately was like, okay, I'm not going to be like that at all. Just smothering this woman, and I learned that from a very young age when I was like 20, 21. I was like, okay, like, oh, I'm not going to be anything like that. And I've done that. And I've also done the opposite where my twin brother, where he would be like, okay, well, the girl's going to be here, but I'm just going to do my own thing. So like the girl would pass out sleeping on his lap while he would be playing, Call of Duty or whatever. And that's the opposite end where he just didn't care at all. Right. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be anywhere needy like my older brother, but I don't want to be too neglectful like my twin. So you got to find a balance there.
Yeah.
That's my story. Their stories are my story.
I actually, maybe like 2 months ago or so, I did a whole live stream where I told a story about how I specifically created a short-term relationship that I wanted it to burn out in a couple of months. And I did exactly what your brother Jay did, where I almost moved into her place. I didn't bring my shit over, but I was there all the time, and we were together every single weekend. And I did this on purpose because I was like, right, we aren't actually a good match, like relationship match. We're really good physically to each other, right? Like we have great chemistry, but not a good match.
Right.
So let's just bang the shit out of each other for a few months and get so sick of each other that we never even think about ever dating again, that we don't ever backslide or anything. I just want to run this thing straight into the ground. And so I did that intentionally. But if you do that out of neediness, you're going to lose the thing that you want to keep.
Oh, yeah. And that's exactly what happened to Jay. Like, she already had these crazy complaints and fights that would occur in like the first month. And so I would tell him, hey, well, I think it's run its course. She's sick of you. And before you get her even more, I think you need to end things now. So that way, when the inevitable does happen, when you keep this zombie relationship alive for 3-4 months, you're just going to feel like a pile of shit.
Yeah.
Of course, he never listens to me. And so 3-4 months went by. Then you feel like a pile of shit on the phone. I'm like, well, I fucking told you, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It was like that with a few of his relationships. And one of them was a few years long. So I was like, so needy that he would rather be in a relationship than just be alone. Yeah.
That is a big problem. And that's something that when I was younger, I kind of struggled with that. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, I don't know, I've kind of told this story a few times, so most people who are watching probably know, but whenever I first moved to Korea, I was getting out of an 8-year relationship. Now, an 8-year relationship when you're 24 years old means you've been in a relationship literally your whole adult life and late teens, right? So
what, a third of your life?
Yeah, right. At that point, literally a third of my life with this one girl. And so I had so much of my personal self-worth tied up in, if I'm not in a relationship with somebody, then that means that I'm clearly not worthy of love and I am not worthwhile. And so like I was needy as fuck at first, right? And for a while after I first got here, I would jump from relationship to relationship and just trying to fill the hole, but not actually trying to find a good match. I was just looking for anybody willing, basically, which is a bad place to be, right? And that just means that you need to do a little bit of introspective work. You need to change the story you tell yourself about yourself. Find the evidence that actually backs up your new story, whatever that is. And that will help you to slow down, kind of tap the brakes a little bit, and not just jump straight in, especially into a relationship with a girl who isn't a good match.
To be honest, ending a 8-year relationship, I feel like that's crazy. To be honest, like it's the same as basically knowing this person for most of your life, and then the day later they just disappear.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you even handle that? Like,
I mean, I moved to the other side of the world.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
It was like 2-3 years. I was like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, she and I had a pretty toxic dynamic between us, and like we would fight and break up and then fuck and make up, and like we were always on again, off again, back and forth. And I knew that if I stayed around, that would just continue. That I had to somehow forcibly break the cycle. And the best way to do that is to be whatever, like 14,000 kilometers away or however far it is, like just literally on the opposite side of the globe. And it worked, obviously, right? But yeah, it is a crazy thing. And even now, like, this is wild. I was with that girl longer than I've been with Lady North, which is insane, right? Like, to think about that is wild. But also, it's just true. So that's how much it was deeply ingrained in me as part of the story that I told myself, of my self-perception. It was that important.
damn. Shall we hop on to the next question, or do you want to start like a psychotherapy session?
No. I don't think that's going to help anybody.
All right.
Let's jump into the next question. What do we got?
Yeah. How to take out the ego out of the game and have fun?
How to take the ego out of the game and have fun.
Yeah.
Julius, do you want to field this one first? I'm going to get a refill real quick.
I mean, I think we've already kind of addressed this one. Like, just your ego, it's usually this self-instinctive thing where it's just telling you to like survive, right? And if you just remove the whole aspect of going like, oh well, I'm too afraid to do this, or I'm gonna crash and burn and fail horribly and miserably. Remove that aspect, reinterpret these feelings as excitement, and don't be afraid of rejection or anything like that. I think what most people do, what should do, at least this is what I do, is have fun with it. Make it a game. Go with a really good friend. Try to come up with stupid lines to pick up women with, and make them laugh. Not just like cheesy, stupid pickup lines like, "Are you tired because you've been running my mind all day?" Like, don't say that. That was cool when Will Smith said it in 1992. Don't say it today. But if you say, I don't know, just random things that'll make girls laugh, or do things that'll get their attention. I remember I was with Paul and I moonwalked past a girl. I walked past her, and then she got my attention. I moonwalked past her, and then she started laughing, and I was like, perfect. Then I asked her for the time, and it was like 5:30 a.m. or something stupid. So if you just come up with fun, creative ways to get attention to yourself from other people, then it'll be great. If you just keep thinking of how negative it is, and it's not negative talking to girls. If you make it such a negative thing, you're gonna always make it this horrible thing when it's really just a really fun thing of meeting people.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it. I like all that. That's literally the first exercise that I do with guys whenever I coach them in person. Is we get together and then we send each other the worst lines we can think of to try to say to open a conversation. And then you have to use the lines that the other guy made for you, right? And the purpose of it is, one, to just have a great time doing it, right? Because it's fun. But two, to break that ego thing of like, oh, but I have to say the right thing, or I have to be perfect, or I have to do this. Or if she says no, then that is a direct reflection on my character or self-worth or anything like that. It completely breaks that. So one fun one that I did, this was years ago with one of my clients who is now married. But whenever I first took him out to go just practice approaching him to learn that, the line he came up for me, the line he came up with for me was, sing Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby, but reference yourself as Pikachu as many times as possible. And I was like, fuck yes, let's do it. I had the stupid Pikachu hat that like you squeeze it and the ears ding a ding ding, right? And so I ran up and I jumped in front of this girl and said, stop, collaborate, and listen. Pika's back with a brand new invention, something. And I did the whole first verse of Ice Ice Baby up to the chorus. And she just stood there and she was like, huh. I have been approached hundreds, maybe thousands of times. I've never seen any of this before. Interesting. I like the creativity. Hi, my name is redacted. And like, that's it. It was fun. I wasn't expecting to get a yes out of that, but I did. And he ended up taking her home that night.
There you go.
Because of the stupid fucking Pikachu line. Not because the line was good, but because I was having fun. Because I clearly didn't care about the ego. Or like, I wasn't worried about getting rejected. It's the least needy thing in the world to go for the no. To actively try to come up with stupid shit to say and do to get the no.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of like, no, okay, walk away. Go somewhere else. Or just like literally turn your back in order to be like, oh, all right, that's cheaper for me. And, you know, you gotta have a lot of fun with it. And I think that's the main thing. It's just make it a contest. You know, like you see, like the fat redheaded feminist with the shaved sides of the head walk into the bar. Like that you have to hit on that one, get her number. Introduce yourself.
Make her so angry that the beer spills over first.
Oh yeah, of course. I remember one time, like it was this thing at Vent when it was still around, and I was like, it was my turn to give Jack a dare, and right as that happened, this girl walked downstairs and she had this braid, and she looked like a Jedi Padawan. I was like, all right, Jack, you go up to that girl and you tell her to not join a dark side and call her a Jedi Padawan. Ask her how her Padawan trading is going. And
Padawan, turn to the dark side, you must not.
Yeah, and like without even thinking about it, you slammed your hand on the table, you went right to her. And yeah, it was hilarious. And the girl, she just gave me this ultra confused look. Obviously, she had never seen Star Wars before, but it doesn't matter. It was, I'm sure she remembers it because it was just that funny.
It was, so the point is to have fun with it.
Have fun.
Any way you can.
I mean,
if that means going with your friend and trying to see who can get the most no's, or who can get the loudest rejection, or who can whatever. Because if you try to measure yourself on success alone, you're gonna be miserable.
Of course.
Right? Like, then it turns into work. And it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. You're talking to people. You're meeting new people. You're having a good time.
Yeah. I remember
to turn it into a game.
When I was able to go out more often a few years ago during COVID and all that, I remember I was like, I want to have more attractive female friends. And so I would just approach a bunch of them and I wouldn't hit on them. I would just make them my friends. Right. And so like now I have like a lot of hot female friends and it's great. You know, so sometimes just kind of reframe it in a way to where mentally you'll think, oh, well, I'm not trying to take these girls home or potentially date them, but I do know them. And if ever comes a time, then yeah, I can probably do that.
Sure.
And they also, and you know how it is with the hot girls. If there's one, there are many, right?
Like cockroaches.
Exactly. I was gonna say herpes, but that works too. Sorry,
Okay.
Antonio.
Next question, Antonio.
Yep. For the last question that we have today, how to start killing your inner nice guy in action? Hmm.
How nice are we talking?
Let's say a 10 out of 10 nice. I buy her flowers, I buy her chocolates and stuff. I always be nice to her.
Oh,
I be a simp and stuff.
well,
Okay.
just stop that.
Yeah.
Lock up your
Symbology.
credit card.
Yeah.
Like, literally give your credit card to a friend and be like, hey, I need you to fucking take this because I can't be trusted with it. You have to shut down. So that would be the first action, is like literally find a way to stop yourself from doing those things. But you need to address the underlying issue, which is, I think that buying her flowers will make her like me more. It will not. That is
Flowers are
not
annoying.
how this works.
Flowers are something you buy way later on when you guys are officially dating, and then she'll drop a line like, "Oh yeah, these are my favorite flowers. I love this color," and then you surprise them with her one day randomly, right?
Yeah.
They like
Or
that.
like for her birthday or an anniversary or something like that. Yeah.
Or she's coming over for dinner and you have them and it's her favorite color, style, whatever. That's great. But if it's your first time meeting, no, you're giving her something to hold. Women hate holding things. People hate holding things. Don't do
Yeah.
that. One thing is give yourself this mentality. If you're not married, don't spend money on her.
Yeah.
Don't spend money on women you're not married to. I mean, like one thing's a stupid fucking dinner, but you know, another thing is like you're gonna pay for trips and tickets and a flight and a hotel and an expensive
What about
restaurant with
dates, though?
Michelin stars and you know Italian chefs that were flown out. You know, and you know all the no,
Yeah.
don't do that.
So Antonio, regarding dates, like you can pay for the date. Don't buy her things.
Nope.
Don't buy her things, period. Right? Like no things are allowed. You can pay for experiences. So, for example, the difference between buying a girl a flight to go somewhere, that's wife bullshit. Or if you're buying like concert tickets to a band you both like. Okay, cool. That's kind of expensive, but also that's within the realm of like, yeah, but I would do this with a guy friend too. And that can be your litmus test. Is like, would I do this for one of my good guy friends? Because you would not buy your guy friend a fucking flight to Paris, right?
Fuck that.
But you know, if you just wanted to take him out for a nice dinner, you'd be like, hey, I want to bring you out to this restaurant. Come on, here, I'm paying. You would. All right, cool. That's your new limit. Is whatever you would do for a guy friend, you're allowed to do that for her. You would buy your guy friend a beer. You can buy her a beer. Who gives a shit, right? But the important thing here is that you aren't buying her attention. All of these things that you mentioned, this like, I want to buy her this, I want to give her this, I want to do this, whatever else, all of that stuff, think about it like salt on food. Some is almost always good, right? But you can live without it too. Too much, however, will literally ruin any food no matter what. So you can put some if you want. You do not have to put some, but if you put too much, it will ruin the whole thing. That's kind of a better way to think about money with girls.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the guy who asked this, he you know him, Julius. He's part of our community here. He moved here almost a year ago, if that kind of gives you a direction to narrow down. He's a really good guy. He's very sweet. He's very considerate. He's very kind. And I think that his concern is that he might sometimes lay down like a doormat a bit more than he should. And he recognizes that, which is great, because that's the right first step, is understanding, right? Like, I don't like that I do these things, and I can improve on this and do better. And I think that the best thing to do, as far as action steps go, for this particular guy, is say no to some things, even small things. Small things. Just practice saying no, especially to the girl, right? So if she says something like, hey, do you want to go to this restaurant tonight for dinner? Say no. And I don't mean yell or be crazy or anything. I just mean say, no, I don't. I was actually thinking, let's get this instead, right? Practice saying no. And that's going to be your first action step. The next thing you need to do is figure out, like, where are your boundaries? What are you comfortable with and what are you not comfortable with? What actions that you currently do you think truly and actually serve you and help you? And which ones are you doing even though you don't really want to, or even though they don't really move the needle at all? Figure out what those things are and then start eliminating them one by one. So whether that's, I always let her choose where to go for dinner, then okay, cool. Let's just practice saying no to that. Or if that's, I always pay for every single date and I know I shouldn't, but also I don't feel comfortable asking her to pay, then okay, cool. Find a way to break that cycle. Maybe something like, hey, I have an idea. I want us to trade off doing restaurant surprises. And the first week, I'm going to take you to a restaurant that I think you've never been to before, but I think you would like. And I will buy it that time. And then the next time, you take me to a surprise restaurant, a place you're not going to tell me, something you think I would like. And that time, you buy. Okay, cool. So like, start building that in as part of, this is something we're going to do. Because then it becomes fun. It becomes part of a game instead of being an uncomfortable kind of like, I demand that you pay your way, which she should, but I get that it's an uncomfortable conversation to have. So I would build it in as part of the thing. Or even something as simple as like, all right, cool. How about this? I'll get dinner and you buy drinks after. Cool, right? You can build it in as part of the thing. It's not a covert contract. We're not trying to push anything. We're not trying to hide the ball on anything. We're just saying, but it is your turn, right? And I think that practicing those steps will help a lot to kind of break some of those bad habits.
Yeah, so basically just make things more interesting for both of you instead of being an asshole about it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have to be an asshole. Just establish boundaries. Be firm with yourself with them.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. A little trickery I like to do, and it's not even manipulative. It's just a nice suggestion. It's like, oh, cool. I'm gonna get dinner, but can you get drinks and dessert afterwards?
Yeah, you buy the drinks and desserts after.
Yeah, and I literally did that just a few days ago. You know, just
Yeah.
I'll get the 30,000 won pizza, and it was a horrible fucking pizza, by the way.
Oh, I also have a hot question for Jack from a lot of my friends, Italian friends too. Do you think, not from them to you especially, but I get this question a lot, especially through my friend group, is do you think broke guys financially should date?
Should date? Why not?
Wait, what was the question?
Do you think
Do
broke
you
guys
think that
should date?
broke guys that
Of
can barely
course.
afford stuff should
Why is that
date?
even a question?
I
I
know,
was
right?
broke and I still fucked.
Because
I
if
mean,
you think
like,
about it,
yeah, money doesn't
the
mean
reason
anything.
behind it is that in order to have nice experiences with a girl that you like, of course you will need to be able to afford these experiences, right?
Look, does Italy have grocery stores?
Of course.
Okay, cool. Do the grocery stores sell beer
Yeah.
or wine? Right? Okay, cool. Does Italy have public parks?
Yep.
Awesome. So here's the thing. You can buy a cheap ass bottle of wine for like what, €4 or something. Take her to the local park, set up shop, just bring a fucking blanket, sit out there and drink wine together. You have an experience now for $4, and it's probably not something that she's ever done before, right? Like, fuck that. You don't need to pay for fancy things. And any girl who wants to like demand that you just spend money on her for no reason, fuck that girl. Absolutely not
Useless.
happening.
Useless. Yeah,
Yeah, not
no,
happening.
I remember I was broke as shit once, and I still managed to make do. It was just, all right, cool. We're gonna go to this restaurant. Yeah, I'm just gonna order that. Still took her home and fucked her. So, it's not a matter of money. I mean, Jack, he went through his hobo period,
Yeah,
and yeah, that was without money.
yeah.
You know,
Dude,
living in a closet somewhere.
Yeah, I would just bring them up to the rooftop of that building that I was
Yeah,
staying
you told
in.
me that story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. And
you
like,
just gotta get creative. And it's not creative in like, you know, a bumology, but it's literally just kind of think of outside of the box ways of making things work. And then yeah, go to the park, set up and make a nice picnic, you know,
go to
drink
the
some
park,
wine, you
set
know.
up on a rooftop. Honestly, anywhere that you can be. When I was younger, I would take girls, and this is back in America, right? And I didn't have a place because this was back when I was in high school. So I'm living with my parents, obviously. I have no money to speak of. So what I would do, and I couldn't even drink, right? So alcohol's off the table, nothing else. And what I would do for dates is I would take girls to this like, there was like a walking bridge over a highway, and we would go and we would sit there on the walking bridge, and they have like those metal gates there so that people don't fall off or jump or anything weird.
Yeah.
We'd sit there and just hang our legs off and just watch the cars coming down the highway, and like that was cool as shit. And we'd sit there and we'd talk for hours. Cost me $0 because I had $0. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. There is no reason to not date, even if you're broke. It does not matter.
Yeah. That's just an excuse in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I'm honestly done with the questions. I don't think we have any more left.
Okay, cool. By the way, if you guys watching, if y'all have any more questions or anything, you can go ahead and toss them in here. Let's see here. We've got Justin coming in. Actually, not gonna lie, I had better dates when I was jobless than myself now as a financially stable adult. Yeah, probably. Yep. Right? Because
yeah, me too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the money shortcuts things, and shortcut means that you don't think. So, for example, if you have the money, if you have disposable income, then you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to take a girl for a nice dinner, for some drinks, and like, yeah, I'll throw down whatever, $100-$150 on the night, and like, we'll just have a good time. It's fine. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to spend any time or any energy to consider any of this stuff. So you pay the money to shortcut that so that somebody else can give you the experience. When you have no money, Nobody's going to do that service for you for free. So you have to be the one who creates and gives the experience, whatever that is, whether that's cooking at home or taking her to the park with a bottle of wine or taking her out to the fucking skate park to go and teach her how to skateboard, or taking her to the rock climbing gym where both of you can get in for like $5 a piece or whatever. Like whatever it is you're doing, you create the experience for as little money as possible because you have no money. That's fine though. You get a little bit more creative. You try new things. You see what you can do under a budget. And that works really well. So even when you do have money, if you want to have a good date, do that. Treat it as if you had no money, or put limitations on yourself just to force the creativity. Say something like, all right, cool. I have an idea. I'm going to plan a date this weekend, and I want you to plan a date for next weekend. And here's the thing. Our budget is $20. That's it. We cannot spend more than $20 on either weekend. So I'm going to see what I can figure out for us to do for under $20. And the next weekend, I want you to come up with some cool shit, and we can do it for under $20, right? Challenge yourself. It makes it fun. It makes it interesting. And then you can, like Google shit, or you can come up with stuff, or you can, whatever, ask ChatGPT, what can I do in this city for under $20? I'm not even joking. Like, why not? Right? Find ways to do stuff. Being broke doesn't stop you one bit. Being lazy stops you, but being broke doesn't matter.
Yeah, all right.
Cool. Then I don't think that we have any more questions. So thank you guys for joining. Very special thank you to Antonio and Julius for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
I don't know what the hell happened with Julius Cam, but
I don't know. It's okay. I wouldn't worry about it. We're finishing up anyway. Thank you guys for joining, for helping me out. Really appreciate it as always. Thank you so much. And for those of you who have watched till the end, thank you as well. I love having you guys here. You guys in the comments, Justin, Z-Mac, I really appreciate you guys. If you haven't done it yet, please hit me a little like down there. It costs you no money. So even if you're broke like Antonio's friends, you can leave a like for free. And thank you so much. And I will see you guys next week. So until then, Papa Jack out.